Peace and blessings. My name is Carlos Walker. This is Forward Progress, and this is Mr. Edwin Barrett.
Barrett,
Barrett.
Barrett.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes,
How you
sir.
doing, Mr. Barrett? If you will, share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Edwin Barrett. What I do as of now, I'm definitely continuing to adjust to society after being incarcerated after almost 16 years. What I do on my spare time, basically just adding on to the book writing and the literature and the knowledge and the education that I have obtained while I was incarcerated. So you know, pushing the education out in the books that I can for the kids and the youth. That's my main goal. You know, that's what I'm doing in the process. It takes time because I haven't even been home in 6 months. I've been home. The time that it could take for me to get to where I need to be. But it's a process.
It's a process.
Yes,
So,
sir.
what we're gonna do, what Forward Progress is normally about, is it shows where you were before prison,
Hmm.
in prison, but then it shares who you are now and how you have progressed or evolved
Hmm.
from the person you used to be to the person that you are now. So, if you will, share a little bit about your backstory, who you were. You can start as early as childhood up
Wow.
until, give me all the way up until roughly about the time that you went to prison. Let me know or give the people who you were then.
Okay. It's funny that you say that, Mr. Carlos Walker. It's like I already get the book that I got out. That's one of the projects that I put my heart and soul in about my adolescent ages all the way up until me going into prison. And the book, which is the title that I came up with, is called Street Life to Prison Life, and break it down how I you know um, was so involved with the street life. Thinking that that was the normal way of living. You know. The streets of where I grew up, Newport News, Bad News, what they call it, Hampton area, mainly Newport News, because that's where I learned most of the things that you know, the person or who I had became. You know, um, of course, like, the '80s. I was born in '89. Around that time, I know a lot of kids, man, or a lot of parents, man. They say the era was the crack epidemic era. I did my history on that, and it's crazy how that era was so how hard it hit my mom and my dad, and people that's my age, them people, me, men, women, whoever that's my age, that era, '80s. They say the crack era, uh, '80s, but I grew up. Exposed to a lot of things that was mainly, you know, in the neighborhoods, uh, in my family. I'm not afraid to say it. A lot of things that I grew up around. It's more so like uh, you either adjust or you just, what I'm saying, you look different.
Mhm.
You know, sports was always a factor in my life, but just the norm of you know being without, not feeling accepted. You might got to do certain things in your lifetime that you really don't want to do as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like as a kid, man, I can remember a lot of things that I experienced when I was a kid, coming up. To fighting, uh, to knowing how I can put the fear in somebody by obtaining, what I'm saying, a firearm, or vice versa, when somebody can do me the same way. And just adjusting to it made me, what I'm saying, live up to a name that I had obtained while I was out there, living that life before I went into prison. You know what I'm saying? At the age of 18, I, I felt like I was doing um, a lot of things when I really wasn't. You know, I was a leader amongst a bunch of teenagers when thinking that I was doing a lot. One of the brothers always said, man, we was always leaders, but we was just leading in the wrong way. You know,
Blind leading the blind.
blind leading the blind, exactly. So, a lot of things, man. It's nothing that I haven't seen when it came to that type of lifestyle, man. Some days I would just um, probably I wouldn't have no hope for living. Like one of the sayings I used to say when I was a kid. And I said this around a couple of guys, man. And to this day, I might not even talk to them. It doesn't matter. But I used to always ask them, like, what y'all think we gonna get a trophy for what we doing out here? You know what I'm saying? Like, we not gonna get no trophy for none of the things that we doing out here. And I always tell myself then that I was living to die.
Mm.
You know, I was living to die then. So that's everything. Mainly is what has led up to that point of me. Ended up in prison.
So, just to your point, there's a lot of youth today
Mm-hmm.
don't know where they're headed, don't know the can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here now. I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear myself, so I know you couldn't hear me. Here we go.
Yeah, we back.
So a lot of youth today, they're basically going through the same struggle, the same things, not knowing where they're headed or not knowing what life has for them. They're just stuck in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it will result or revolved around, yes, the 80s, but
Mm-hmm.
it has also trickled down into now. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these kids are stuck in the same mind state that you are in.
Mm-hmm.
So before we move further along, what would you, I guess, tell a young person that has the same mind state that you had then, being that you know who you are today? What would you give them?
Oh well, if I can catch him before he get to where I was before I got to that, certain when you get to a certain age, sometimes, man, you so far gone that you ain't trying to listen to nobody. You know that. But what I would tell him is um, learn from me. Like learn from me. I know they say experience can be the best teacher, but learn from me because you don't have to go through what I went through to be where I'm at. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like uh, I remember how I had said something to a young guy before. You know, and even siblings. Like, and it's sad to say it because even though the wrongdoing that we was doing out there in society, we wasn't supposed to be doing it at all. You know, whether if we in poverty or we living in good neighborhoods, we wasn't supposed to be doing it. But I would tell the youth now, like, you see how things have changed. If I can go back and show you how things were when I was out there, early 2000s, and I would get, if I had any type of recordings of how they would want to be and how they, uh, pursue themselves as a so-called, quote unquote street individual. I will show them um, how we didn't want to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I would tell a youth, like, listen, I understand. Like now, it's like they glorified.
Mm-hmm.
They want the recognition. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was doing something, you didn't want nobody to know what you was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tell the youth, like, look how things have changed. Do you think that you will want to be a part of something that's what's happening now? Because when you go in there and they give you all that time, I'm talking about time that you probably you're not ready for. Then you're gonna be sitting back looking like, dang man, I should never been here. I should never been, living the way that I'm living because it has got worse. Like you say,
Mm-hmm.
they still doing the same thing and they still got the same mindset. But it just the times have changed on why why they why they why they like it. You know what I'm saying? Like why do they want that? You know what I'm saying? If it's pain, if it's hurt, I understand it. But you know, at one point in time, sometimes we had to do the things we had to do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids nowadays, they really don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't have to. They see the music it has influence. You know what I'm saying? It influenced me as a kid, so I know what it's doing to them now. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot, man. But that's what I would get to them, man. Like, if you don't have to, then why do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't know how good they got it when it comes to that type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people that's in different areas. Man, I study a lot of people all over, and I'm talking about people that still fighting for their lives. Like use Haiti for example. You know what I'm saying? Like they doing it for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? Because they really impoverished. They trying to get away, find a way out. You know what I'm saying? But you know, a kid nowadays they can have everything. You know what I'm saying? Have both of their parents, and they still want to go. Carry the blick or the whatever it is. Times has changed, man. I think that's a thing that I would talk to them about taking them back in time so they can learn their history.
So briefly, what pushed you to do what you do, what you have done, what you did?
Would push me.
Yeah, or what psychologically made you choose that type of lifestyle? Was it the environment? Was it uh, just the environment and the things that your parents may have been going through? What made you go into that lifestyle?
Well, I believe all of the above. All of the above. I believe all of the above. Like, I never wanted to be down. You know, I never wanted to. But it's like it's like a dog eat dog type of environment when you live in. You know, where they say kill or be killed. All of that type of stuff that we was living by. All of that. Of course. Never known my pops to this day. I never knew him. All I know is he from DC area. That's what I do know about him. Never met him. Don't know his name. Hopefully one day I will get to meet him and he will see who I have became. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but all of the above, you know, being raised by my grandma. She did the best she could. Um, a lot of siblings. You know, the environment. Drugs, guns. It's plentiful at the time. So all of that. And then feeling the pressure of backing down from another human being. You know what I'm saying? Quote what they say. I think Nipsey used it. He said, "I was raised to shoot at black men." You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of sad to say that, man, because at the end of the day, that's what we was doing. We was raised to shoot at each other. Same person that looked just like me. I was raised to shoot at you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but that's the pain and the hurt when you living in that environment, man. You wake up and the first thing you pick up is a gun, or some drugs. The environment that you're around, man. Not just because you trying to make it to live to the next day, but just knowing that it's basically a chance that you don't make it to see that day. So that's what. You know.
Okay, so uh 18,
Hmm.
you catch a charge. If you don't mind me asking, what is charge?
The charge that I was incarcerated for,
Hmm.
robbery.
Okay, you catch a robbery charge. You're sitting in prison or sitting in the jail. They just gave you a sentence for how long?
18 years.
They gave you an 18-year sentence. What's running through your mind? What's the psychological damage that's going?
Oh man. At the time, I still had the street mentality. You know, I went in there like I was still on the streets.
Mm,
You know, I went in there and I was thinking like, okay, you know, I'm going in here, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for whatever. You know, that's what my mindset was when I first went in. I knew I had to do the time, but I didn't know how it was gonna be when I got inside. You know, prison. You know, of course, it was way wilder. It was more structure, more respect when I went in than it. You know, as I was coming home, you know, I started to see how it was fading away. But I had ended up, you know, becoming a young OG at the time. So a lot of young dudes was like, "Dang man, you been in here since you were 18," and I'm like, "Yeah, I've been here since I was 18. So y'all got it made." But you know, just going in, I had the mentality that I was ready for whatever came while I was doing my time.
okay. So share a little bit about, I guess, the experience, the people you ran into. You said in the beginning you was still young, you were still young-minded. So that
Mhm.
means in the beginning you were probably wide open.
Yeah, I was. I was.
Uh, yeah, well, look, depending on when you go in and who you're around or
Hmm.
who you bridge yourself or align yourself with, this is
Hmm.
how you will be. So, up until what age do you think you decided to make change, and what were some of the things that you did when you first went in
Mm.
as a wild young man?
Mm. Well, the first the age, let me see. Oh man, I was probably like in my mid 20s, probably like close to, I want to say about when I got to Lawrenceville and I went to the program, man, I made a decision that I was going to do something different, you know what I'm saying, with my life. Um, that was probably, I want to say 27, 28. I want to say around that time. You know, I had it didn't take me long. I still had that, you know, that fight in me. You know, I still had that. You know, I was a thinker. You know, I thought my way out of things instead of actually, you know, being that aggressive lion that I was known to be. So I kind of thought my way out of things when I did, like, you know, approach a situation. You know, my Earl, um, they basically like it's all about smoke, you know, where they say who won't smoke or who will smoke. And at the time, at that time, I was clearing the smoke with a lot of people, not just for myself, but a lot of people that once knew me as a person that, you know, that was always prepared for whatever. I was the one that was saying, listen, man, this ain't the time for that no more. You know what I'm saying? It ain't because we running away from it. It's just that ain't y'all tired of it? Aren't
Mm.
y'all tired of, you know, the way, you know what I'm saying, we've been living? Because I know I am. I'm ready to be free.
What brought
So
about this mindset?
what bored about it? It's a lot of things, man. I was getting uh a lot of callers. My grandma, for one, she was so proud of me. She was so proud of me because she knew that I was only trying to be the protector and the provider. You know what I'm saying? I'm the oldest out of six, for one, and I've been doing it for a long time. So you know, when I went in, a lot of things was, you know, a lot of blessings. You know, I feel like my grandma prayed over me. I know, you know, the saying too. Some people prayers can save you. You know what I'm saying? I believe her prayers saved me a lot in the process of me going through meeting a lot of good people. You know, like I say, when I had went to this program, I graduated program, and uh, one of the OGs that I had once knew, you know, that we both know, which is Paul Taylor. Yes sir. When I first seen him, this was before he even came and spoke at the program. Uh, Before he even came, I had seen him back at Nottaway when I first went in the system. But he knew who my family was. We kicking it. But after a while, he haven't seen me in a while. So when I had graduated the program, this is about 10 years later. He comes to the program. I'm not even knowing that he coming to speak until the last minute. You know, So once he come and speak at the program, he come and he like, you know, we embrace each other. He like, man, yeah, I'm proud of you, and I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of you. Like, look at this, you, we both done came a long way. And he like, yeah. He said, man, he said he like basically like look at her. Where's the rest of the home team in this program? Because the program was a program where a lot of people just kind of frowned upon, meaning like you didn't go over there because you didn't want to follow rules or um, they was telling over there, um, you know, basically the things that I didn't care for. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew who I was as a man. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? It was basically a behavior modification program. You know what I'm saying? To test your patience when you living, just on a daily basis. It was one of them type of programs. Uh, Paul Taylor came over there to the unit manager, you know, and my family, my grandma, everybody was there, and he was like, "Man, I know this brother, whole family right here." He said, "Man, he come from a long line of go getters." He said, "Man, but this one right here gonna make a difference." And just hearing that, before he even said it, man, I just knew it was me. I just knew it was me.
Other question, shit, other than the program and people who you aligned yourself, what do you think was some major changes to make the changes that need to be made to get you here?
You
Other than
said you
prayer,
go
other
in prayer.
than yeah, other than prayers of your grandmother, other than aligning yourself with people like Paul Taylor and people
Hmm.
of that nature, what would be some other things that made you decide to say, you know what, I got to get my shit together?
Oh yeah, of course, man. Listen, Carlos. Listen, man. I'll tell you. For one, I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in prison.
Mhm.
Uh, and there've been times when I've been there. I had a lot of older guys in my ear, man. You know what I'm saying? To the point where, you know, having it in my hand, having it, the knife in my hand, and actually my thoughts are running crazy, and just knowing what I can do with this weapon. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in there because I know, hit a person the wrong way, man. You
It's
could kill
over.
them. You
It's
know what
over.
I'm saying? That's one thing. I knew what I could do with it. I knew what I could do without a weapon, so I knew what I can do with a weapon. That's one thing, and vice versa. Not getting killed in there. From anybody. You know what I'm saying? Whether if it's um, a staff member or just a fellow brethren. You know what I'm saying? Anybody just going around the compound. So them was the main two, not not dying in there and not killing nobody in there. You know, so
These
that
were
was
major shifts in the mentality
yeah,
for
yes
you to
sir,
say, yo, I need to better myself.
yes
So
sir,
then I don't die in here or
yeah,
don't kill nobody and be left
yes
in here.
yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
So let me see, 16 years go by. You sitting in prison, you're bettering yourself because of the company you're keeping, the wanting to be a better version of you. Your
Mm-hmm.
grandmother also inspiring you, being able to look at you and speak life into you about who you were. Your people like Paul Taylor looking at you and basically saying, look, this one here is a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to leave prison. What was the mindset or the psychological process that kicked in that made you? How were you feeling? This was technically no more than what you said a little bit more than roughly about 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel?
Well, I came home June 4th, and I
Congratulations too.
appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Unfortunately, man, my grandma passed away 17 days before I came home, and I remember it's May 17th, 17 days before I came home. Um, that took everything. It took a lot out of me because I didn't know. Sometimes we be asking, questions that we like why now or why me? 17 days. She rolled all the way up into my last 17 days. Um,
She knew you was coming home.
yeah, she
Okay.
knew it. She knew it. She held on as long as she could. Um, so unfortunately, that was a wild situation, man. I'm better now, but I came home and I spoke. And my aunt, God rest her soul, she ended up passing away too, man. It was a lot on our family because she was the rock, she was the wisdom. Um, you know, Pete like a mentor to me, man. I talked to him, what I'm saying, when his son passed away. My grandma had called him when his son, passed away, and then when my grandma passed away, I had called P, man, and he said, man, one thing about our elders, man, when we lose an elder, we lose wisdom and unconditional love, and I know that's what a lot of us, our generations are missing, man. That wisdom and that unconditional love, man. So I came home. I came home. Of course, I knew that she was watching over me. They held the funeral off until I came home. You know, they waited 2 weeks. Yes, sir. That was her wishes to see me home. So I went. I carried my baby. But I was a pallbearer. I spoke there. I spoke there, and you know, just I'm living for her. I know she sit back proud of me because I put one of the books that I had got published. I got help from a couple of people that was once a part of something that I was trying to build. Like once again, unfortunately, we not building how we was, but that's either here nor there. I put two of my projects that I worked on inside her casket. And,
Mm.
I'm here now, and I'm elevating to transition into a better place and better things. So,
So there's a few things I want to give you based off that. One, you may not have gotten to see her on this side, outside of her body, them holding the funeral. But what God does know is that, hey, she got to know that you was coming home, and didn't pass till it was 17 days. Some people, it be years.
hmm
They don't get to come home and tote the casket. They don't get to, what I mean, do those things. But what you do know is, two, you didn't lose nothing.
that's right.
That wisdom, the same wisdom that she gave, is still in you.
hmm
And you have to take that wisdom that you know and that she's given, and that God has allowed you to be able to get from a grandmother. You get to push this forward to the next generation. You get to give this because you have it.
hmm
The 16 years wasn't spent in vain. You became a better version.
That's right.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. We all wish we could have been out here in the free world, but will we be here? That's a question.
Yeah,
Because of the lifestyle that we live, some people change, some don't, some end up in the grave. However, you are still here and able to do the things that you're called to do because of the fact that you are still here.
that's
In
right.
spite of being in the clamshell or prison itself,
Yeah,
I'm still looking at you today Well, as you know, like I know, a lot of people don't make it out.
You know?
It be they die, or whether it be they catch more time from killing somebody themselves.
Mhm.
You elevated mentally,
Yes, sir.
and they're elevating mentally and want to be the best version of you. Thank God for Paul Taylor. Shout
Yes,
out
sir.
Big Homie
Yes, sir.
and all those other comrades that was in there that got you here. The thing
Mhm.
about it is you are here, and over the last 6 months, share a little bit about some of the things that you have done since then, since you've been home, because it's still fresh. So we can't name all the accolades and things that you're gonna do, but we can name the things that you have done, because I want
Mhm.
people to be able to see what you have come home and chose to do.
Okay. Okay. Well, of course, yeah, I came out here and adjusted to society. It's being a law-abiding citizen, working, you know, driving, getting, I got my L's and all that. Um, paying bills. We about to move into our first house. Me and my queen. So, nice house, nice house.
Congrats.
So, but just basically taking it one day at a time. Everything. Adjusting to technology when it comes to things that we need out here. When I got locked up, a lot of things wasn't how it is now. Everything is a code. Everything is a password. So I'm learning these things. I'm learning these things as I go, and I'm catching on. I'm catching on. So, um, like you say, you don't know how far I'm gonna go, but I have been, elevating, you know, the right way. I'm adjusting the right way. You know what I'm saying? When I say adjusting the right way, a lot of people thinking that when you got to come out here and basically uh, not blend in when that's how life is moving out here. Life is moving like that's the only way that you know are going to pay file taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like people just basically thinking that you don't supposed to come out here and live that normal way of life. Like um, it's sad to say it, but we all stuck in between the things that we want to do and the things that we got to do. And I just been taking care of everything that I got to do. You know.
I like the way you put it. Hey, one thing I do know, as long as you continue on this process, you're gonna be successful.
Yes, sir. I
One
appreciate that.
thing, oh man, this is look. Hey, I only meet great people. I promise you. We met at Paul Taylor's place. I mean
Hmm.
event, and
Yeah.
this is the thing. Just like I seen him, I see you.
Yes, sir. I
And
appreciate. Yeah.
greatness move in circles. So the thing about it, who you decide to spend time with, mentally, physically, the whole nine. This is also where you're gonna grow to. If
Yes.
you decide to hang with a bunch of people who selling drugs or sitting around drinking liquor, this is what they do. This
Yeah.
is what you choose to put your spend your time at. But when you decide to hang with people who are elevating, you elevate with them.
That's right.
There's two types. Well, there's many birds, but I'm only gonna use two. There's chickens, and then there's eagles. You
Yeah.
got to choose whether you're a flyer or whether you one who gonna sit on the land and get eaten up.
That's right. I like that.
So I look at you and I can see, even from the conversation that we have had, and this is just your inception, your beginning.
That's right.
However, I also know that there's a long road full of magnificent things that you're about to do. You're a game changer. And me, like I said, I only talk to great people. I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. When God allowed me to meet somebody and I stay connected to them, I know they're great. And I
Mm.
know they're bound to do great things. So I just tip my hat to you, man, and they continue to do the things that you're going to do and work on. Every day is a step. If you have ever played chess, checkers, I'm gonna just use checkers. As long as you keep moving the piece, guess what? It upgrades at the end of the board. Once it make it to the end of the board, it gets kinged.
That's right.
And that piece get to move how it wants to move all the way across the board. Why? Because it chose to move step by step
Mm-hmm.
in order to become who it's supposed to be, and that's
Mm.
you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I like that. I like that piece. I like that
So
piece.
keep doing what you're doing. We'll do this will be part one. We'll do part two in the future. Give you a little time to make moves and maneuver, spread your wings out. And what we'll do, we'll upgrade it later on so people get to see how we really move when we come home.
Yes,
This is
sir.
your, this is the beginning of your forward progress, but it's
Yes, sir.
also you moving in forward progress.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes. I appreciate you, man. Can I was gonna say something about said give me some time because I have been finishing up this book. Of course, I got your book right here. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going nowhere. This is, I look, I want this right here, man. I'm in the process of finishing mine, so it'll be out. It's called "Was It Too Late?" By the time I caught up with you, and it's talking to men, women, and children. You know what I'm saying? So anybody can go purchase this book. It's all me this time. I depended on who I depended on while I was incarcerated. No ill feelings towards anybody that helped me out with the process. But it's nothing like coming out here and being able to do it for yourself, man. Because you know it's lovely out here. I love it. I love living. Yes, sir.
and then last thing I'm gonna ask you to do, give me a word of wisdom for anybody who, whether they're in prison, out prison, old, young, something that will inspire them. Give me a word of wisdom.
Word of wisdom. Um, Word of wisdom. It's crazy because I got so many quotes that I write down. Usually I have one on the top of the head. Um, all right, well, look, I'm gonna use this. Speak on uh, us as people, man. A lot of us might deal with this on a daily basis, man. I believe I got this picture right here too. If you don't mind me sharing it,
Go ahead.
um, it's a picture of
The greats.
Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Marcus Garvey.
Mm,
So the reason why I showed that picture, man, because I listened to one of the songs by Kendrick Lamar. Let's talk about pleasing everybody. You know, my advice and my wisdom to people, man, is listen, man. In the process of you going through your journey, man, you can't please everybody. You know what I'm saying? You can't please everybody, and a lot of people deal with that because it'll bring you down when you're trying to do that. Even the greats done dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? When they dealing with a lot of people and wanting to please everybody, but at the same time, it's like it won't happen because you gonna find somebody that's not gonna be happy with your decision making. You know what I'm saying? Because it won't them.
mm,
You know, and I study the greats because I know that they are the ones that dealt with that the most. They dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? They did the best they could, but at the end of the day, when the stuff hit the fan, was they still a fan? You
mm.
know, so and that's what all of us, man. We can't please everybody, man, and still be a fan of the greats, man, when they do go through their hard times, man.
Appreciate that. Look, I love you, bruh.
Love
I'll
you
make sure
more.
I send this to you too. Keep being great, and hey, you already know I'm just a call away.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate it, man.
man, you already know it. This is Forward Progress. My name is Carlos Walker, and this is my man Edwin. Do it
Barrett,
again, Barrett.
Barrett, Barrett. Yes,
Love
sir.
you,
Yes,
love
sir.
you, bruh.
Love you more. Take care.